You're listening to Sister Stargazers, celestial and terrestrial observations and advice from two real-life sisters. Welcome, fellow stargazers. Your sisters are in the house. Hey, Jude.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Pretty good.
Episode 76 is Sunday, February 19th through Saturday, February 25. We have a lot of aspects to walk through, so where do you want to start?
Well, we start usually on Sunday.
Yep.
This particular Sunday, the 19th, we're going to be in a balsamic moon phase. So we're going to slide right into that new moon on February 20th. And it's a very dynamic chart. So on the 19th, on Sunday the 19th, and even on Saturday, late Saturday the 18th, you might be feeling like this fullness or heaviness, or the moon's going to be swinging through Aquarius. So it's going to be touching on Saturn. So this might, really, in addition to the moon phase being balsamic, which is a healing phase, it brings to fruition or completion or resolve everything in the previous lunation that occurred or experiences that need to be processed. So the closing out of the old moon phase and the beginning of the new at the time of the new moon. But this balsamic phase, it can feel very heavy, emotionally heavy. And this might be exacerbated by Saturn, by the moon first moving and conjuncting Saturn before it moves into its new moon with the conjunction of the moon and the sun, which will be in Pisces, right?
Yeah.
What will also be happening, though, on Sunday the 19th is that the moon is in Aquarius. Before it gets to Saturn, it's going to make a square to Uranus over in Taurus. So we've been talking about that a lot because Saturn was in a square to Taurus. 3 times over the past year.
Yeah.
And that's been, this balancing act, this tension, this point of growth between the collective and the personal. And what's owed to the collective and what's owed to an individual as a sovereign person. And this kind of pull that goes back and forth. So this moon will come through and knock on that square again when it meets up at the 15-degree mark of Aquarius. It'll square over to Uranus. And that might also be an echo of the full moon on February 5th, because that full moon on February 5th was also square to Uranus from Aquarius sun and Leo moon at 15, 16 degrees Leo, Aquarius, making a square over to Taurus. So these issues around freedom, responsibility, personal versus collective, have been riding around in the energetic ethers for at least now since the first of the year. And what's starting to happen is this square is starting to be integrated more into our understanding. And as we move forward, and we're getting these lunations, especially these new moons at the 1 degree, 2 degree of these perspective signs as we move around the zodiac month, we're starting to feel like a potential for a new beginning, a new way of seeing things, a new integration. So this particular moon will happen at 1 degree and some minutes of Pisces. So the moon makes its conjunction to Saturn at 28 degrees, 57 minutes of Aquarius. So Saturn is at the anorectic degree of Aquarius. So what is owed the collective? Where is your place in that group, tribe, team? And what value do you bring to it? And has that changed? And maybe you're feeling, well, no, I'm not so aligned with this anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So this is 28 degrees. This is like almost the end of Aquarius. So there's a sense it's like in March, which is not that far away. On the 7th of March, Saturn will move into Pisces. So Saturn will move into the degree of this new moon.
Yes.
This new moon in Pisces at 1 degree, 22 minutes is actually kind of a call, like a clarion call, like you think of the angels with the horn, right? Calling out to you, reimagine.
Yes.
Reimagine what might be possible. It's calling out from the deep ocean of the collective unconscious. So Aquarius is like the collective, what's already manifest, the group, the hive mind, right? Pisces is the collective unconscious. It's the part that is the seed in the belly. So we can think back to this full moon at the time of Imbolc, right? Earlier in the month. And we can say, hey, what was brewing? What are we cultivating? What are we birthing here? What are we growing? We can form it with our imagination, with our deep imagination. So this is the beginning. Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac before we'll be moving into the new astrological year of Aries at the equinox in late March, right? This is the last lunation before that next lunation. So there's a culmination, there's a review, there's a sense of taking stock with Saturn right there at the end of Aquarius, and then this new moon happening right at the beginning of Pisces. There's a releasing of what no longer serves you. There's a reimagining of how you might be bringing your gifts. So whatever that is, there's also an aspect here to Chiron. They could be healing gifts, artistic gifts, music, literature, dance, theater. Also the gift that you bring just by being yourself. What brings you the most joy in the world? What is it that you most love to do? And that could be being a mom or a dad or creating experiences for people or any, it could be driving a bus. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a lofty concern or a pursuit. All it needs to be is something that you love. And also that you bring the best and highest sense of yourself to it. This new moon is it's a pivoting time. And it's also, in many respects, a culmination of the previous year of really, integrating what has transpired, high points, low points, and then truly releasing what no longer is of value.
Absolutely.
The same time that this happens, right? The same time almost exactly at the same time of this lunation, Venus is at 29 degrees, 57 minutes Pisces. So Venus is at the anorectic degree of Pisces. And she's kind of echoing this, you've got this beginning of this new moon phase, and then you've got all of this, what is it that you value? In terms of the gifts that you're cultivating,
what you were just
out
saying
into the world. And so she makes this cross over into Aries right after this new moon happens.
Put it into action.
Yes, exactly. And soon she'll meet up with Jupiter. We can talk about that in the coming weeks. So opportunity is awaiting us. This is really, in my mind, a pivotal lunation. And it's going to be supported. So the work that's involved with this lunation is going to be supported with Mercury in Aquarius at 12 degrees of Aquarius. So she's going to be making a trine over to Mars. And then the midpoint of that is going to be the moon moving into Aries. Later in the week. So this trine from Mercury in Aquarius over to Mars and Gemini, these air signs, is going to be, wow, let's get these ideas in action. Let's get this thing moving. What do we need to get this done? And making that trine between Aquarius and Gemini, thinking about a plan, moon in Aries is going to be about the action quality. So again, the moon will make an ingress into Aries. And again, it's like, okay, take an action. So this is all kind of a precursor in a way to what's coming in March. It's a really big time. We can look at the aspect chart more, but I can also pause here and take any questions you might have.
No, I'm always just amazed at how when a card comes out that it can support all the astrology that's going on. So I could share the card that came out this week. And using the Rider-Waite deck, it's the 8 of Cups. And the imagery for this 8 of Cups, I think, speaks to everything you just laid a foundation for, right on down to the fact that the moon and the sun are in conjunction on the 8 of Cups. There's a new moon in the Eight of Cups. And there's 8 cups in the foreground of the card. And then there's a figure moving away and actually moving to higher ground. And the book I used to sort of work with this card this week is The Path Working the Tarot by Lisa Robertson. And just to read a little bit of what she's written, it really is talking about walking away potentially from what you have built in the past is not only necessary, but liberating. Just because you've invested time, energy, and money into something doesn't mean it will serve you forever. The Eight of Cups teaches us to move on, to admit when something did not work out. This is the key in allowing success into your life, for you have to know when to walk away from one thing in order to begin something else. It also talks about, it goes on to say, the Eight of Cups, it could also be the warning bell you need that your dream seed, which is a new moon, needs to be moved in a totally different direction in order to fully bloom. All you have to do is say goodbye and find another path. So that is the card of the week.
I love that.
Not only moving forward, but moving to higher ground. And I think that just also speaks to like you were saying, following that purpose, following your purpose, whatever it is, what you love the most will raise everyone around you. If what you're doing is done with joy and love.
Right. And those 8 cups, like that's a lot to leave behind.
Yeah.
Like that's almost to the end of the suit of cups, right? You have the 9 and then you have the 10, but 8 is like you're beyond, you're 2/3 way, right? And maybe it's a career that you've cultivated, and maybe it's
sure.
The other thing that I see in this depiction is that the person walking away has a staff.
Yes, they are supported.
Yeah. Yep. So there's, and that moon is kind of winking at them. I thought that was a great observation. And in the image of this is the Rider-Waite deck, the imagery, that moon is actually kind of like giving a little wink to the traveler, saying, like, okay, we got you covered.
Yeah. You've got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more this week. I don't know how much more we can go, how much further we can go here.
I mean, I guess it's also, what advice do we give to help navigate this? Just to follow your instinct, take time to reflect.
I think that taking some time to process might be, even if it's just a moment.
Yeah.
While you're between tasks. And then the other thing is like to really, at the times of these new moons, I want to encourage you all to watch for signs that nature might be giving you. Mm-hmm. So maybe the call of a bird from a certain direction, or something that you're listening to on the radio that really kind of vibrates with it's a call and response, right? You're putting out a kind of maybe a question, how can this be possible? And then the answer comes through a song on the radio, or maybe a conversation that you overhear in the checkout line at the grocery store, which is sometimes that's where I pick up my information.
You're just little confirmations from the universe.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Yeah. Right. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, the moon moves into Taurus at the end of the week.
Okay.
So this again is landing us with the moon conjunct Uranus. So by Saturday, you might feel like if you've taken some steps, there might be some validation is too strong a word, but there might be some acknowledgement or there might be a nod, like the moon might be winking at you, but there might be a surprise, a serendipitous event or happening that the moon might be just agreeing or somehow showing you that this is
affirming,
exactly. Uranus is always about surprises and that kind of synchronicity that happens when you're working, that things are kind of clicking or rolling in a way that you don't always feel like makes sense, but somehow it's like you're on the right track. It's just the way the life has of showing you direction, right? So, and I would watch for that moon and that means just taking stock of your feelings basically after this lunation and all during that week, because the moon will be the mediator between Mars in Gemini and Mercury in Aquarius, which are in trine. So the ideas will flow. They might be out of the box ideas that you can't put into action now, but you want to notice how those ideas make you feel.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because the moon's in Aries.
Okay.
And so that feeling, how those ideas feel, is that possible? Would that be possible? And so it just might be possible,
Right.
it just might be totally doable even. Not just possible, but actually, you could be given the phone number of the person that will help you to make it real, or
fantastic,
get the financing in place so that it might be more of a reality, or whatever it is that you need. The moon might help you get it, especially when it's in Aries, when it's just so action oriented.
Amazing. Okay.
It's a very full week, and I just want to encourage people to pay attention to how they feel, because this lunation in Pisces is going to allow you to know that endings can happen, that even if an ending happened 2 years ago, that it's still, you can take that, you can see how far you've come.
That's it. Yeah.
There might have been a real ending, like a divorce or a sale of a house, or a kind of a cutoff with a friendship or family or whatever, or move of wherever. And that might have been really hard at that time, but you might know now that it was all for the best. Yeah. You can look back, you can close the book. In other words, you can turn the page. You can
really close it. Exactly. To move to that higher place.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jude.
So good. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah.
Listeners, you can send any questions, comments, feedback to our email at connect@sisterstargazers.com. And on Monday nights, we're still doing our weekly astrology deep dive show on wmpg.org. So if you tune into that, you can find us on Monday nights at 7 p.m. And you can even call in with your questions there. And that's 90.9 FM, wmpg.org. Thanks. That's all I've got.
Have a good week, everybody.
Thanks. You too, Jude. Love you a lot.
Love you. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Sister Stargazers. Let us know what worked for you this week. Find us on Facebook and post a comment at Sister Stargazers.